Youth Ministry at Morning Chapel Baptist Church. Trayla plans to join Danielle at UT Tyler and receive her bachelor's degree in business with plans of getting a job in human resources. Her favorite quote: "There's no lemon so sour that you can't make something resembling lemonade." She would also like to thank Nala and LMA for making this season one for the books. The bond that they have shared in a short period is one that she'll always cherish. Lastly, she'd like to thank her seniors who have been with her since 7th grade. They finally made it. She loves them all, especially the Pettis. This is not the end, but just the beginning. To Ava Dillon. Sedavia Porter. Sedavia is instructed by the Henry Porter, Willie Porter, Dwayne Ross, and Marcy Porter. Sedavia is a 4-year letter winner for LadyCat. She would like to say thank you to her family for all the endless love and support throughout these 4 years, and to all her coaches who she thanks for pushing her and believing her. Sedavia is also a member of the varsity track team, as well as Key Club, Youth Ministry at Morning Chapel, Sunday School Secretary, as well as the Youth Secretary. Sedavia will be attending UT Arlington on a full track scholarship and majoring in kinesiology. She would like to say to her seniors, she loves them all to the moon and back and will always cherish the memories they've made. Her favorite quote comes from Colossians 3:23. "And whatever you do it heartily as to the Lord and not to men." Sedavia Porter. Tierra Rose. Tierra is instructed by her mother, Patricia Madden, and her father, James Rose. Tierra has played LadyCat basketball for 4 years, being a member of the varsity team for 2. Her favorite basketball memory comes from sitting in Isabel on the couch, having girl talks, and cracking up inside jokes, as well as her car talks with Carrie before coming to Saturday morning practice. Tierra has been a member of the varsity track team, as well as a member of Key Club and a Dare to Dream. She plans to attend Prairie View A&M University with a plan of becoming a social worker. She would like to say to her seniors, Danielle, Sedavia, Autumn, and Terrell, be great. I love you guys, and every one of you have potential to be anything you desire to be. Her favorite quote comes from Jeremiah 29:11. "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope in the future." Tierra Rose. And lastly, Autumn Tank. Autumn is escorted by Amy Tank and her sister Annalisa. She has played LadyCat basketball for 4 years, as well as participating in varsity volleyball. She also participates in leadership, Key Club, and National Honor Society. Autumn will be furthering her volleyball career at Oklahoma Wesleyan University, where she further plans to become a physical therapist. She would like to say, to her mom and sister, thank you for the endless love and support, and to the rest of her family and friends, thank you for always being there and believing in me. Autumn Tank. Everybody join me in a round of applause one more time for our 6 seniors.
This is KSS 21230 AM Sulphur Springs, Texas, your home for LadyCat and Wildcat basketball and all sports. Let's go tonight. It's time for LadyCat basketball. Let's get this straight here. Time for LadyCat basketball. Let's go to the high school gym where tonight's sports game is covered by KSSC Sports Director Don Julie. Don?
Well, James Terry, thank you very much, and welcome everyone into the main gym here on the campus of Sulphur Springs High School. It's LadyCat basketball against the Lady Tigers of Mount Pleasant. Teams currently reside in 3rd and 4th place in the district. LadyCats are 5 and 3 in 3rd place. and Mount Pleasant 4-4, and they're in 4th place. So a big, important ball game for these two teams, and I'm sure they will play like that this evening. They usually do. Usually have some wonderful competition when Mount Pleasant and Sulphur Springs gets together. And we're getting ready for, I'm sure, the national anthem, and also we'll have the introduction of the starting lineups as we're just about ready to get underway here. The teams are in the bench areas, and nice senior night ceremony that took place, and they welcomed honored Sadavia Porter, Tiara Rose, Danielle Godbolt, Autumn Tanton, and also Terrella Kelly. And now standing for our national anthem. Now here's Philip Manning with the starting lineups. Philip, the Wildcat assistant.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sulphur Springs High School for tonight's matchup between the Mount Pleasant Lady Tigers and your Sulphur Springs LadyCat. Now for the starting lineups, first for the Mount Pleasant Lady Tigers. Starting at guard, senior number 3, Kayla Brown. Starting at guard, junior number 5, Danielle Merritt. Starting at guard, sophomore, number 15, Autumn Jackson. Starting at post, junior, number 33, Kenny Bates. Also starting at post, junior, number 40, Momo O'Meara. The Lady Tigers, coached by Tina Grillo, assisted by Kyle Stencil, Carmen Nance, and Macy Brown.
Now the Lady Cats.
And now the starting lineup for your Lady Cats. Starting at point guard, senior number 2, Sadavia Porter. Starting at guard, senior number 3, Tiara Rose. Starting at guard, senior number 12, Danielle Godbolt. Starting at post, senior number 22, Autumn Tanton. And starting at post, senior number 3, Terrella Kelly. The Lady Cats are coached by Rick Tisdale, assisted by Mark Lindsay, Jim George.
And Philip Manning, the assistant to Clark Cipolletta, doing the announcing for the Lady Cats games here. Well, they appreciate Clark doing that. Or excuse me, Clark letting Philip do that. Philip just coached a JV game. Mount Pleasant won that one, by the way. Did not get the score. I was doing some other things. But 5 starters, all seniors, starting for the Lady Cats. Terrella Kelly in the starting lineup, as well as Autumn Tanton, Danielle Godbolt, Tiara Rose, and also Sadavia Porter. Mount Pleasant has Momo McNary, Kenya Bates, Autumn Jackson, Danielle Merriman, and Kayla Brown. And Bates will jump center with Autumn Tanton. The official heading out there to get us underway here in this Lady Cats game, and it's controlled by Mount Pleasant. Slapped back into the backcourt by Bates and retrieved there by McNary. And here come the Lady Tigers. Brown with the ball. Gets it over to Merriman, back to Brown. And over to Autumn Jackson. Now they try to get it inside, stolen by the Lady Cats. Rose came up with it and gives it to Sadavia Porter. Just underway here in the first quarter, 0-0. 7:36 to play first quarter. Porter drives toward the basket. Contact. Shot is put up and missed and rebounded by McNary. Outlet pass to Merriman. Long pass down the court to Brown. Shoots a three that is off, no good. Bates with a rebound. Follow shot, no good, and a good rebound by Tiara Rose. All 5'2" of her went up and got that rebound. And gives it over to Sadavia Porter across the midline. Sadavia getting some instruction from Coach Tisdale. And now around the arc it goes to Danielle Godbolt to the free throw line over to Tiara Rose. Rose looking inside, back to Terrella Kelly, around to Godbolt. And inside toward Autumn Tanton, tipped the ball down on the floor. Autumn coming up with it. And now it's still down on the floor, and now we're finally going to have a jump ball with possession arrow to the Lady Cats. And Rose will throw the ball in for the Lady Cats. 6:41 to play in the first quarter, 0-0 into Autumn Tanton. Left-handed layup is good by Autumn Tanton. First basket of the ball game. Lady Cats up 2-0. 6:33 left here in the first quarter. Across the midline, Kayla Brown for Mount Pleasant. And the ball worked over to Autumn Jackson and back to Kayla Brown, who drives in, and there'll be a foul down on the drive. And let's see, I did not see what number he looked like. A 4, but there's no 4 out there. Well, already missed out on the first foul. Well, Lady Cats have picked one up here. Mount Pleasant, no fouls so far in the ball game. Now Mount Pleasant triggers into Bates. And Bates walked before started the dribble, so a turnover on Mount Pleasant. Back to the Lady Cats. 6:17 left in the first quarter, and Mount Pleasant now pressing in the backcourt against Sadavia Porter. Porter gets it to Rose across the midline. Rose slows things down and almost threw it into the backcourt, and she threw it in such a manner that it caused Sadavia Porter to save that one to keep it from going in the backcourt, and she traveled to do that. So turnover on the Lady Cats. Both teams seem to be a little tight in the early going here. Kayla Brown over to Autumn Jackson. And the ball now in the hands of C.C. Keaton is in there. Here's a cross-court pass. Danielle Godbolt got a hand on it. They were trying to hit Bates in a cross-court pass. And Bates has got some good moves. He was very impressive the first time that these two teams met over in Mount Pleasant. And now the ball comes into McNary, and around it goes. And McNary with the ball again, now top of the key, left side. Drive in by CC and missed the shot, but a foul down on the floor on Autumn Tanton. Yes, Autumn's first, I think. Somebody else has got a foul out there. And throwing the ball now, Autumn Jackson. Both teams have an Autumn and a Danielle in the starting lineup. Now the ball over to C.C. Keaton. She drives in and lost the ball into the lane. Picked up Danielle Godbolt. Godbolt down the court. Gives it to Tanton. She shoots a short jumper. Miss. No good. And Bates with a rebound. Long pass. Too long. And Mount Pleasant will not catch up to that one. A turnover on Mount Pleasant. So back to the Lady Cats. Lady Cats 2. Mount Pleasant 0. 5:19 left here in the first quarter. And Sadavia Porter to throw in for the Lady Cats. Mount Pleasant pressing all over the court. Back to Sadavia, and she gets across the midline. Now changes behind the back. Dribble, put it in off the glass and hit the layup. Lady Cats up 4-0. Sadavia Porter, that behind the back dribble, and got free from the defense. McNary gets over to Bates. Bates drives in, puts up a jumper, off the iron, no good. Got her own rebound, powers in, and put it in the basket. Kenya Bates. It's a 4-2 ball game. The Lady Cats being pressed in the backcourt, a tip pass, but Danielle Godbolt got it back, and Rose got it across the middle. Now Porter driving in, Euro step, missed the layup, but Godbolt got the rebound and hit the hit the basket after the offensive rebound. First two for Danielle Godbolt. Lady Cats leading 6-2, 4:27 left here in the first quarter. And McNary's got it outside from Mount Pleasant. He gets it over to Autumn Jackson. And she works it to Kayla Brown. Brown dribbling outside for Mount Pleasant. Coached by Tina Carrillo, former Lady Cats head coach. I think she was here when I was here for 3 years. She was here before that. Now a tip and stolen by the Lady Cats. And here comes Porter down the court. Porter, a good assist pass to Danielle Godbolt, who hit the layup. Timeout taken by Tina Carrillo and the Mount Pleasant Tigers. Lady Cats 8 and Mount Pleasant 2 with 3:49 left here in the first quarter. We'll take the break with them, and we'll be back in a moment. Danielle Godbolt has 4 quick points. Autumn Tanton with 2 and Sadavia Porter 2. Starting the 5 seniors tonight. Terrella Kelly getting a start. I know that thrilled that young lady. And here comes Mount Pleasant across the midline on the dribble. Kayla Brown works it over to C.C. Keaton. And now back over to Brown and back to Keaton. Back to Brown, top of the key. Penetrates the line and then throws it back to Keaton. Almost threw it away. Keaton made a good save and gets it over to Autumn Jackson. Brown on the dribble, back to Keaton. Jackson and down to McNary in the corner. She's trying to get the ball low outside. A 3 for Mount Pleasant. Oh, it was off the mark there by Keaton. And it'll go back to the Lady Cats, leading 8-2 with 3:11 left here in the first quarter. When these two teams played in Mount Pleasant, it was an even ball game all the way halfway through the third quarter before the Lady Cats were able to move out to a lead. This game, the Lady Cats are off to a strong start. Tiara Rose in the backcourt gets it down to Danielle Godbolt. Godbolt driving to the baseline, and a turnover on the Lady Cats. It'll go back to the Mount Pleasant Lady Tigers. Nice assistant coach, too. Kyle Stansel helped out a lot with these lineups. We thank him for his help. Now here's a 3 by Mount Pleasant. It is off, no good. Rebound Danielle Godbolt. That was taken by Kayla Brown. And now Sadavia Porter will move across the midline. Lady Cats leading 8-2 with 2:43 left here in the first quarter. Porter right side, Rose. Rose dribbles and cross court Danielle Godbolt. Godbolt outside the arc, top of the key. Will give it back to Porter on the left side. And now she'll drive into the lane, funneled off to Autumn Tanton, missed the shot, and Bates got the rebound. Bates, a tough customer inside from Mount Pleasant, gets the ball down to Keaton. Keaton against Rose. Rose with some tenacious defense. Over to Autumn Jackson and then around to Kayla Brown. And Brown will set the Mount Pleasant offense. They're down 8-2 with 2:08 left here in the first quarter. An interception by Danielle Godbolt, who stepped into the passing lane. Godbolt was driving down court and bounced the ball off of her foot, but I think she got fouled at about that time. And Bates, I think. It looked like a 31, but she's about as close as I can get to that 33. Tiara Rose will throw the ball in underneath the basket for the Lady Cats. They lead 8-2 with 1:59 left here in the first quarter. Rose triggers in. Sadavia Porter will shoot the 3. Off, no good, and Bates got the rebound for Mount Pleasant. Bates works it over to Jackson, and Jackson heads across the midline. Lady Cats had fallen back on defense. Oh, the ball got away from Jackson, and she tried to catch it and pass it, and they called her for the travel as that ball took a big high hop on Autumn Jackson. So it'll go back to the Lady Cats, leading 8-2 with 1:44 left here in the first quarter. Ball into Tiara Rose, and she'll head across the midline and hands off Porter. Porter Heads toward the basket. Oh, tried to bounce it low. McNary got the steal. Outlet pass down to Autumn Jackson, driving in on Tierra Rose. Put up a shot. Missed it. Terrella Kelly got the rebound. Outlet to Sadavia Porter. Long pass to Danielle Godbolt. Oh, she was fouled. Oh, my. Really got a hard foul from Bates. That is at least, I believe, 2 on Bates. And that Mount Pleasant each team has only 2 fouls. And Danielle Godbolt, who was cruising in there trying to hit another layup, they prevented that with a hard foul. So Danielle Godbolt with a couple of free throws coming here. On the way, good. Danielle, a good start with 5 points. Somebody ought to tell her she's playing Lindale. Boy, does she get fast starts and score a lot of points against the Lindale Lady Eagles. Second free throw is off, no good, and Bates got the rebound. Lady Cats leading 9-2, 1:17 left here in the first quarter. Jackson works it to Brown. Brown over to Keaton outside the arc as they play catch outside the arc. They work to the right side. Tried to get it into McNary, went off her hands, and the Lady Cats get a steal. And the ball in the hands of Sadavia Porter working against Jackson in the backcourt. Porter across the midline. Lady Cats up 9-2. 53 seconds left here in the first quarter. Terrella Kelly, a 3, almost went in. Danielle Godbolt got the rebound. Autumn Tanton missed the rebound, and then the rebound by McNary. Outlet pass. Here comes the Lady Tigers with the ball tipped and stolen. Back to Autumn Tanton. She drives in, was bumped, and she made the shot. Did not get the foul, but Autumn Tanton made the basket and made it 11-2. 29 seconds left here in the first quarter. McNary drove in. She adjusted her dribble a little bit as Sadavia Porter swiped at the ball, but it caused her to travel. And Merriman has checked back into the lineup now. That's Danielle Merriman for Mount Pleasant as they press. They're down 11-2 in the last 24 seconds here in the first quarter. Sadavia Porter into the lane. Terrella Kelly, a 10-footer. Good! By Terrella Kelly, yes! Lady Cats leading 13-2, 10 seconds. Love to see Terrella score. Doesn't get a start in 2 points. How about that on senior night? Mount Pleasant, a long 3, in and out. A near miss there by C.C. Keaton. And the Lady Cats lead after 1 quarter by the score of 13-2. But we'll take a break here, and we'll be back with the start of the second quarter right after this break. And getting ready for the start of the second quarter, the Mount Pleasant Lady Tigers will have the ball, and Danielle Merriman will trigger it in to C.C. Keaton in the backcourt for the Lady Tigers. And Keaton's got it to run the offense now. Lady Cats leading 13-2 into the corner to Jackson. Merriman with the ball. Oh, and intercepted by Tierra Rose. Gives it down to Sadavia Porter ahead of the field, and she hit the layup. 4 points for Sadavia. Lady Cats leading 15-2. 7:38 left here in the second quarter. Keaton dribbling the ball outside. Gets it over to Merriman. And back to Keaton, top of the key. Back to Merriman in the right corner to Jackson. Got it down low and then kicked it around. Jackson, a long shot off the backboard, no good. Porter driving down, beating everybody down the court. She's bumped and fouled and hits the deck. And a Mount Pleasant foul. I believe that was on Autumn Jackson. Let's see if this looks like, yes, that looks like a 15. I show that to be her first. Porter will shoot a pair. Danielle Godbolt was the leading scorer for the Lady Cats after the first quarter with 5 points. Porter's free throw good. Porter now has 5. Autumn Tanton had 4 first quarter points. Kelly 2, and Sadavia Porter had 2. And Porter's net got both free throws, Sadavia Porter. And it's 17-2. Lady Cats up here with 7:17 left here in the second quarter. Here comes C.C. Keaton with the ball. Dribbling outside over to Danielle Merriman. And throws the ball tipped by a couple of Lady Cats, ended up out of bounds. And Merriman will throw the ball in over in front of the Lady. Well, she would have, but they just checked her out of the ball game. Honesty Brannon has just checked in along with Bates is back in there. Over in the corner now. That's Jackson. The McNary. Jackson will shoot the three. Off, no good. Fight for the rebound. Autumn Tanton had it but couldn't quite control it, and it went off of her out of bounds. Congratulations to Autumn, by the way, for a third-team All-State honor on the state volleyball team, excuse me. And congratulations. Mount Pleasant a throw in, and it was tipped out of bounds by the Lady Cats. Back to Mount Pleasant. And throwing the ball in now will be Honesty Brannon. One of two Brannons on the roster. Needs some help and got it into McNary. She turns, shoots, off, no good. Good rebound, Godbolt, and got it over to Porter. Long pass down to Danielle Godbolt. Too long, but I think Mount Pleasant was trying to recover the ball and ended up knocking it out of bounds. So the Lady Cats will have it underneath the basket. They lead 17-2. Gotten off to a great start in this one. Tiara Rose into Tanton. She has shot off the glass. Good play by Autumn Tanton. And she's got 6 points. She's really turned into an accomplished shot maker in close around the basket. That was 7-8 feet. Lady Cats leading 19-2. 6:25 left in the second quarter. Here's Keaton with a three, no good. Ball is knocked down to the floor, and Rose picks it up. Rose over to Porter. Young lady from Mount Pleasant fell to the floor, and Porter drives down, missed the layup. Porter got the rebound out to Danielle Godbolt. 12-footers, good by Danielle Godbolt, who has 7. Lady Cats leading 21-2, just under 6 to play here in the second quarter. Keaton across the midline for the Lady Tigers. And works it over to Brannon and back to Keaton. That's Honesty Brannon. And Brannon's got it back. And back to Keaton. Tried to get it to Bates. The ball tipped, but Bates got it. And sends it over to the side and down low to McNary. And back to Autumn Jackson. The three is off, no good, and rebounded by Terrella Kelly. Kelly having some good minutes here in the early going for the Lady Cats. Across the midline for Sadavia Porter. Porter over to Danielle Godbolt. She drives in and sends it to Tiara Rose. Rose thought about the three into the corner. Autumn Tanton might shoot that three. She will, and she probably wished she didn't. She missed it. And the rebound to Mount Pleasant. Here's Brannon driving down the court. The ball knocked loose, and the Lady Cats, Kelly comes up with it. Over to Porter. Porter driving in. She'll stop and pop from the three. That's off. And the ball down to Bates. Bates will motor down the court. Bates toward the bucket. Contact, and she put it up and in. Rose hit the floor. No call in the play. And 2 for Kenya Bates, who has all 4 of the Mount Pleasant points. 21 for the Lady Cats, 4 for Mount Pleasant, with 4:40 left here in the second quarter. Tiara Rose in the backcourt against pressure. Gives it to Sadavia Porter. Porter splits some defenders. Porter driving in over to Autumn Tanton. Danielle Godbolt, she penetrates in over to Terrella Kelly just inside the arc. That missed. The ball down on the floor. Tanton picks it up, missed the shot. Bates got the rebound. And Bates works it over to Autumn Jackson. Jackson on the dribble. Lob pass to Keaton, to C.C. Keaton. And over to Brannon, and here's a three by Jackson. Good by Autumn Jackson. Her first bucket. She's got 3 points, and it makes it a 21-7 ball game. And timeout for the Lady Cats. 3:56 left in the second quarter. It's the Lady Cats of Sulphur Springs 21 and the Mount Pleasant Lady Tigers 7. We'll take the break with them, and we'll be back in a moment. And just about ready to come back to action here. We have a few more seconds in this timeout. The Lady Cats have come out of their huddle over there. Now here comes Mount Pleasant right at the end of that break. Lady Cats up 21-7, just under 4 to play here in the second quarter. Good start for the Lady Cats as Kate Womack is coming to the ball game now to trigger the ball in, and she gets it into Porter. I believe that's, also Nyla Lindley is now in there, so a couple of subs for the Lady Cats, a junior and a sophomore on senior night. All the Nyla Lindley free throw line. Tanton over to Kate Womack. Porter and around Tiara Rose. Rose into the corner, Autumn Tanton. And back to Rose. Rose penetrates in over to Autumn Tanton. Back to Tiara Rose and around to Kate Womack and around to Porter. Porter drives in, short jumper off. And the rebound, Mount Pleasant, Jackson got it. Brannon got it. Here's Bates down the court and hit the driving layup as Kenya Bates has 6 points. And it's 21-9 here. The Lady Cats leading over Mount Pleasant. 3:10 left here in the second quarter. Porter holding the ball outside. Autumn Tanton free throw line over to Kate Womack. And back around to Porter. Lob to Tanton. Turns, shoots, and got it. Good shooter's touch by Autumn Tanton. She's got 8. And the Lady Cats leading 23-9 with 2:50 left here in the second quarter. Lady Cats pressing in the backcourt, but Mount Pleasant comes across the midline. Brown back in there along with Keaton. They work it over to Brannon. Brannon drives in, and the ball was tipped and stolen by the Lady Cats. Nyla Lindley ended up with it, and she gives it to Tiara Rose. Rose across the midline. And over to Womack, top of the key. Here's Kate. And hands off to Tiara Rose. Rose looking inside. She'll shoot the 3. It's off, no good. And the rebound comes down to Keaton from Mount Pleasant in the backcourt. Gives it over to Bates. Bates across the midline. Bates and had the ball stolen. And it goes over to Sadavia Porter. Porter down the court. Drives in and hits the layup. Boy, just too fast. Sadavia Porter with 8 points. And the Lady Cats are leading 25-9 with 1:48 left here in the second quarter. Keaton's got the ball. She'll shoot the 3. In and out. No good. Tough luck on that one. Bates got the rebound. Just missed the shot, and she'll draw the foul. She'll shoot a couple of foul shots. And I think Autumn Tanton picked that one up. It's at least 2 for Autumn. Let's see if Coach Tisdale makes a substitution. As Kenya Bates from the free throw line. Now as the bucket. Free throw on the way is off. No good. She'll get another. As Autumn Jackson checks in, and she'll replace Honesty Brannon. Bates with another free throw coming for the Lady Tigers. This one's on the way. In and out. No good. Autumn Tanton with a rebound. Gives it over to Sadavia Porter. And Porter started a drive and picked up a quick foul on Autumn Jackson, who did not believe that foul was on her. He's still telling Coach Carrillo, I don't know what I did, Coach. Lady Cats with the ball. They get it into Sadavia Porter. And Porter right side to Tiara Rose. Cross court, Kate Womack. Womack, she took that little baby step before she started dribbling. And officials, they go to a special school to learn that call because you see a lot of it. Just a little bit of foot movement before the dribble starts, and officials will get that one every time. Checking out for Mount Pleasant is Trinity Brannon, who is in there. I think McNary has returned. And here come the Lady Tigers, down 25-9 with 1:20 left here in the second quarter. Here's Keaton with a 3, and she got this one. C.C. Keaton. She's had some near misses, and she got that. And Mount Pleasant now down by 13 only here, 25-12 with 1:06 left in the second quarter. Tiara Rose over to Womack, top of the key. Kate looking around. Lobs for Autumn Tanton. Good catch and laid it up and in. Autumn is pretty dangerous down low when she makes that catch, and she's good around the basket. She's got 10 points. Lady Cats up 27-12. 45 seconds, all that's left here in the second quarter. Ball is tipped, and Tiara Rose almost had the steal, but she couldn't quite get that ball under control. Needed a handle on it that time. She was really fighting to try to get control of that ball. Go back to the Mount Pleasant Lady Tigers. And Autumn Jackson will trigger in for the Lady Tigers. Gets it into C.C. Keaton. And Jackson will shoot another 3. That will be off the iron. Kate Womack throws into Tiara Rose. And over to Sadavia Porter, who's quickly double teamed, but she'll just dribble the ball down the court, beating them down court. Drives in toward the bucket, put up the shot, and got it! Holy cow! Sadavia Porter has 10, And the Lady Cats lead 29-12. That was longer than a usual Sadavia Porter layup. Bates drives in, off the glass, no good. Rebound to Nyla Lindley, but stolen by Mount Pleasant's Jackson. Got it over to Bates. Bates heading toward the basket. She lost the ball down on the floor. Lindley tried to pick it up and then got hit in the legs. And Bates will pick up. I show that to be 3 fouls on Kenya Bates. I could be wrong. One of them I wasn't real sure about. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, okay. So the ball to the Lady Cats now after the foul on Bates on that loose ball. And now Kate Womack with just 2 seconds left. Long pass. Tanton will, instead of shooting the three, she tried to pass. Now they have .6. That's catch and shoot. That's about all you can do. I bet Sadavia knows how to do that. I'd give her a chance here. She can probably catch and shoot with the best of them. Let's see what they're going to do. You're going to have to shoot quick. Autumn did it, but she missed the shot. But well executed by Autumn Tanton. The shot did not fall, but she got the shot away, which is a big accomplishment with just .6 on the clock. So that's a half, and the Lady Cats lead by the score of 29-12. 10 points in the second quarter from Mount Pleasant, and the Lady Cats had 16. So the Lady Cats leading at the half by the score of 29-12. And as the varsity guys begin to warm up on the court, we'll take our halftime break here, and we'll come back and tell you who scored what, as the Lady Cats are leading the Lady Tigers of Mount Pleasant at the half by the score of 29-12. We'll take a break here, and we'll be back in a moment. We look down below and we see Iverson Wade. Good to see him, a former Wildcat basketball player that I'm sure he's in college somewhere right now, but not sure where. But always good to see Iverson. Got that great smile on his face. Lady Cats bring the ball in to Porter. The pass to Nyla Lindley. Her shot is no good, and the rebound comes down to McNary. And here comes Mount Pleasant as they will up-tempo a little bit. Bates heads toward the basket. Tried to scoop it under. Her shot was blocked, but she races out to pick it up. She looks like in much better condition than I saw her in Mount Pleasant. She had a hard time making it up and down the court, but she looks a lot sprier tonight. But here's a steal by the Lady Cats, and Porter drives in, missed the layup, got her own layup, missed that. And Mount Pleasant comes out with a rebound, but young lady, that was Kayla Brown, tried to bounce it off a Lady Cat, and they say she traveled in the process before she could attempt to bounce it off somebody else. So the Lady Cats will trigger in right down below us. Comes into Tierra Rose. Lady Cats leading 29-12. 7:19 left here in the third quarter. Danielle Godbolt, the three. That's off the iron, no good. Good rebound, McNary. And here come the Lady Tigers. McNary right across the midline. Still dribbling. Now kicks it back to Brown and around to Keaton. A three. Off. No good. Rebound, Tierra Rose. Best 5'2" rebounder I've ever seen, I think. You don't see anybody that tiny that, she's had a couple tonight. And Rose drives in over to Godbolt, and Godbolt went into the lane, but they say again the takeoff was the lethal part of that, and the officials call Danielle for a travel. And Autumn Jackson triggers in to Kayla Brown, and here come the Lady Tigers down 29-12. 6:39 left here in the third quarter. Teams have started the third quarter the way they did the first quarter, kind of slow. Here's Keaton with a three. That's off the iron. Rebounds Sadavia Porter. She races down the court. They're trying to catch up to her. She made the layup. And Porter with 12 points. Lady Cats leading 31-12. 6:18 left here in the third quarter. Lady Cats trying to go 6-3 in district play before they have to go to Texas High to finish the season on Tuesday. Here's McNary driving in. Over in the corner, here's a three from Mount Pleasant. Oh, in by Mount Pleasant on Autumn Jackson. She's got a pair of threes now and 6 points. 31-15. Lady Cats just under 6 to play in the third quarter. Porter drives a 10-footer's good. That's Sadavia Porter. She's got 14. But she just drove all the way down the court with that stop and pop in the lane. And Lady Cats up 33-15 with 5:36 left here in the third quarter. Keaton will shoot another three. That one missed, and it will go out of bounds and go to the Lady Cats. Ended up in the Mount Pleasant cheerleaders over there. Danielle Godbolt works the ball in to Sadavia Porter. Mount Pleasant back in defense, and Porter across the midline. Lady Cats by 18 with 5:20 left to play here in the third quarter. Rose to Lindley and around to Danielle Godbolt. Drives toward the basket, now drives out. Rose a three, and off, no good. Good rebound, Bates. And Bates with a long pass down court to Kayla Brown. Brown works it over Jackson, the three, in and out, no good. And tipped out of bounds, and last touch by Mount Pleasant. It'll be back to the Lady Cats. Lady Cats 33, Mount Pleasant 15 with 4:55 left here in the third quarter. Mount Pleasant ends the season with a date with Royce City, so Lady Cats and the Lady Tigers will be playing the best two teams in the district on the final game. Shot put up and missed by Sadavia Porter, and McNary got the rebound. McNary on the dribble across the midline. Mount Pleasant down 33-15 with 4:34 left here in the third quarter. Bates drives in, missed the shot. The official kind of caught her as she went by. She was really moving fast and wanted to make sure she didn't crash to the floor, but she did pick up a foul on the Lady Cats, and Bates will be shooting a pair. She's 0 for 2 from the foul line. Had 6 points in the first half. Trying to add to that total right now. On the way, no. We'll have another one coming. I like her moves around the basket. She looks like she has some moves around that basket. Big, strong, powerful player. Missed that one. That one, I think, failed to even hit the iron, and so that'll go. There's no reason to have to rebound that. This automatically goes on to the Lady Cats out of bounds. 33-15 left here. Lady Cats leading 4:24 and counting here in the third quarter. Sadavia Porter with the ball outside. Porter over to Danielle Godbolt. Steps outside the arc, now comes in over to Nyla Lindley. Lindley driving in over to Porter. Porter outside Tiara Rose. She'll shoot the three. Good by Tiara Rose. Her first three. Boy, she got a good chance to really line up on that one with nobody guarding her there. Open shot, and Tiara Rose really a pretty form on that three. Lady Cats leading 36-15 with 3:51 left here in the third quarter. A Lady Cat steal by Godbolt. Godbolt driving down the court. He missed the layup. Rose in there fighting for the rebound. Ball on the floor, picked up Danielle Godbolt, blocked out to Tanton. Missed the shot, fought for. Sadavia Porter comes up with it and put it toward the basket. Came up short, but Danielle Godbolt retrieved the ball down low to Tanton. And Tanton was going to turn toward the bucket, but I think a foul, first of all, on Kayla Brown. I believe that's the first on Kayla. Coach Tisdale coaching them up over there. I think she's going to be due with that baby there in several weeks. Ball out to Danielle Godbolt. Here's a three, off, no good, and the rebound comes down to Kayla Brown. And then it rolled out of bounds, and it'll be back to the Lady Cats. They say it went off Mount Pleasant. So Danielle Godbolt will trigger the ball in right in front of the Lady Cats bench. As into the ball game now, we see Zaria Webster. First time we've seen her, and back in there is Honesty Brannon. Godbolt works it into Rose. Rose with the ball. A Tiara by any other name would be a Tiara. No. What was wrong with that quote? How about a Rose by any other name? Here's over to Autumn Tanton back outside Porter. Porter drives in, puts up the shot, missed it. Scrapped for the rebound. Danielle really working in there, but they may have, they got her for the foul. So Godbolt on the foul, and that's the first one I show, but I am highly unofficial here. Each team, two fouls for the Lady Cats, one for Mount Pleasant here in the third quarter. McNary over to Keaton. Watch Keaton, she'll shoot that three from out there. being guarded by Tierra Rose. The ball is tipped and down on the floor. We'll have a jump ball possession arrow to Mount Pleasant for the gold and black. And throwing the ball in will be Honesty Brannon. Long-time rivals of Sulphur Springs and Mount Pleasant. My goodness, no telling how far that goes back. The ball into McNary, missed the shot. Danielle Godbolt the rebound and works it over to Autumn Tanton. 2:35 left here in the third quarter. Lady Cats leading 36-15. Porter outside. Porter dribbling that ball. And a 3-second, Nyla Lindley's going to, I think she set an illegal screen will be the call on Nyla Lindley. That shows that to be her first. Lady Cats leading 36-15 with 2:21 left here in the third quarter. And Keaton across the midline for the Lady Tigers. Right side Brannon. Here's a three. It's off the iron, no good. Rebound Lindley. Lindley out to Porter. Porter racing down the court. Porter down low to Godbolt and missed the shot. Danielle comes up with her own rebound outside. Rose open for a three. Missed that one. And chasing it down is Autumn Jackson. Porter got the steal, but they'll say she fouled to do that. I show that to be the first on Sadavia. Back to Mount Pleasant. They lead 36-15, 1:51 left here in the third quarter. Mount Pleasant with the ball, throws into Keaton. And Keaton across the midline for Mount Pleasant. The ball's tipped by Tierra Rose, and Porter comes down with it, racing toward the basket, hit the layup and got fouled. And once again, Autumn Jackson didn't particularly like that call. Again, holding those arms out to her head coach, saying, I don't know, coach. But Porter got the 2. She's got 16, and we'll have a chance for an and 1 here, as Tina Carrillo is going to send in 3 players now. Merriman is back, along with Bates. And also coming in there now is the other Brannon. This is Trinity Brannon. And they'll join, we've got Honesty and Trinity now. Both Brannons out there, along with Autumn Jackson. Porter from the free throw line. This one is good. Sadavia Porter, 7 in the quarter, 17 in the game. And now they're going to check Jackson out of the ball game, and in is Kayla Brown. Lady Cats 39, Mount Pleasant 15, with 1:34 left here in the third quarter. Across the midline from Mount Pleasant. Kayla Brown, left side it goes. Trinity Brannon out to Merriman. She'll shoot the 3. Oh, she went to the bank, and she got it. So Merriman with a 3. Mount Pleasant has 4 threes in the ball game. They've cut the lead now to 39-18 with 1:10 left here in the third quarter. Porter dribbling outside. Right side it goes. Tierra Rose over to Autumn Tanton. Free throw line over to outside Porter. The 3 off, no good. Rebound comes down to Honesty Brannon. Almost stolen by Porter. Knocked out of bounds. It'll be off of Porter, and it'll go back to Mount Pleasant. 55.8 seconds left in the third quarter, and the Lady Cats of Sulphur Springs leading Mount Pleasant by the score 39-18. And here come the Lady Tigers, burning bright here tonight. Merriman with the ball. Oh, she moved that pivot foot. Moved one foot and then the other, traveling violation. And back to the Lady Cats on the turnover. 44.3 left here in the third quarter. And the Lady Cats leading Mount Pleasant 39-18. Porter across the midline for the Lady Cats. Porter outside, left side it goes to Tierra Rose. Autumn Tanton from the elbow, it's off, no good, and the rebound comes down to Mount Pleasant. Kayla Brown will run down the court. She encounters Rose. Good bounce pass to Bates, missed the layup, but got her own rebound and forces it back up and will go to the free throw line. I think Lindley got her. I believe that's correct. And so that will send Kenya Bates, just like the country, Kenya. Bates free throw off the front iron, no good. She's had a tough night from the free throw line. Like she needs to put a little more oomph on them. They're coming up short. That one was off the iron, no good. Autumn Tanton the rebound. 18 seconds left to play in the third quarter. Lady Cats up 39-18. Porter has the ball outside. Usually about now you start moving. You got 10 seconds. Let's see what Porter decides to do working against Honesty Brannon here. And Porter is going to pull up. Her three is blocked by Brannon. And then players hitting the deck on the floor as they chase the ball. But no harm, no foul there at the end. Well, let's see. They're calling a foul right there at the end of the quarter. Let's see if that's going to result in some foul shots. It looked like a non-shooting foul in neither team. So this will just be a wash. But I think somebody did pick up a foul on that loose ball. Lady Cats leading after 3, 39-18. Let's take the break here, and we'll be back with the fourth quarter right after this. Well, we played 3. The Lady Cats of Sulphur Springs leading Mount Pleasant 39-18. In that third quarter, the Lady Cats outscored Mount Pleasant 10-6. Pretty close scoring third quarter there. Lady Cats will start with the ball here as Danielle Godbolt will trigger into Sadavia Porter. And the ball into Porter. He comes across the midline. Let's see how the Lady Cats play it. Up by 21 as we go into the fourth quarter. Rose in the corner. Tanton looking inside. Back outside Porter. Left side it goes. Godbolt. To Terrell Kelly. She'll shoot. She was just inside the arc. That's a 2-point shot. She was just over the line. And a good 2-pointer there by Terrell Kelly, who's got 4 points in the game. Here's a 3 by Mount Pleasant. Oh, it came up short. And the rebound to Danielle Godbolt. Works it over to Porter. Lady Cats leading 41-18. Porter driving down court off the glass. She's going to be called for an offensive foul, and that will overrule the basket. So Porter with the offensive foul. Show that to be her second. I think he did cause confusion, that referee did. He looked like he flashed a 3, but he meant 2, and he corrected the record there. I think there was some question at the scorer's table. But they got it all figured out. And here comes Mount Pleasant now, trailing 41-18. 7:14 left here in the third quarter. Down to Bates. Boy, she clears some room and then put it up and in. Rugged customer there from Mount Pleasant. As she is a load underneath that basket. She's got 8 points. And Lady Cats up 41-20 with just under 7 to play here in the fourth quarter. Sadavia Porter outside. Right side it goes. Tierra Rose. Rose back to Porter. Porter on the dribble. Right side Rose. And now Rose on the dribble and back to Porter, top of the key. Left side it goes. Danielle Godbolt. Terrell Kelly the 3. It comes up short. Tanton fights for the rebound. Knocked out of bounds by Mount Pleasant. It will be back for the Lady Cats. Kelly loving this playing time. She says, I'm going to get off some shots here. She's hit 2 of them. Has 4 points. And Tierra Rose will trigger the ball in. Gets it into Tanton. Made the catch. Missed the shot, but drew the foul. And will shoot 2 from the foul line. And the foul, I believe, on Trinity Brannon. I think that was a double 1, excuse me. Tanton's free throw is good. She's got 11 points. And McNary checks in for Mount Pleasant, replacing Bates. Another free throw coming for Autumn Tanton. Autumn eyes the bucket. Free throw on the way is off, no good. And McNary with a rebound. Boy, she really soared for that one. And Merriman, and she gets the ball in the hands of Kayla Brown. Brown, top of the key. Stops, bounce pass McNary. Puts up a shot after a move, miss, no good. The ball into the corner. McNary sprung on that rebound. Good hustle. Got it over in the corner, around the arc. Brown drives in, penetrates, put it up, missed it. Rebound Danielle Godbolt. Godbolt over to Porter. She lets the traffic move by and now moves across the midline. Lady Cats up 42-20, just under 6 to play here in the fourth quarter, excuse me. right corner, Tierra Rose. Rose dribbles and now cross court to Danielle Godbolt, who heads toward the bucket, put up the shot, missed it, and McNary got the rebound and outlet pass to Kayla Brown, quickly cut off there by Tierra Rose. Rose plays some fierce defense. McNary driving in and put up the shot. What a beautiful move by McNary. She had a little Euro step and pep in her step with that. And cuts the LadyCat lead to 20 now at 42-22 with 5:19 left here in the fourth quarter. Sadavia Porter dribbling the ball and goes over to Autumn Tanton. Back to Porter. And Porter thought about the three. Back to Autumn Tanton. Tanton toward the basket. Stolen by Mount Pleasant. And down the court. The ball pried loose, though. Back to Porter. Porter heads down the court. Bounce pass to Danielle Godbolt. Missed a couple of shots. Finally drew a foul. And Mount Pleasant will get the foul. And that was on McNary. Show that to be her first. Danielle will shoot 2. Godbolt was 7 points. Danielle can, kind of like that Swiss Army knife, she can really do a lot of different things on the basketball court. Missed that free throw. And I don't know, Coach Tisdale, she really would not know what to do without Danielle on the court. She just is a steadying influence for her teammates. Made the second foul shot. Godbolt with 8 now, and it's 43-22. Just under 5 left to go in the ball game here. Mount Pleasant had her pocket picked and ahead of the field. Sadavia Porter put it in the book. She made the layup. 19 points for Porter. And it's 45-22 with 4:35 left here in the fourth quarter. Mount Pleasant works the ball over to Honesty Brannon. A cross-court pass and a good job by Terrell Kelly to jump in the passing lane and tip it out of bounds. Keaton returns along with Zaria Webster, both in the ball game now for Mount Pleasant. Appreciate the Mount Pleasant AD, Richie Pinkard, for allowing us to do this ball game for you tonight. We appreciate his approval. Ball down low and works to McNary, but pried loose, picked up by Porter. He started driving down the court and got fouled by a Mount Pleasant player. And I believe that was Keaton, and Keaton looked puzzled, so I'm going to say it was on her. Looked like she did not think she fouled. LadyCats leading 45-22 with 4:04 left here in the fourth quarter. Sadavia Porter over to Autumn Tanton outside the arc, left side Danielle Godbolt. Danielle on the dribble, stops. And bounce down to Autumn Tanton. The ball pried loose and stolen by Mount Pleasant. And they work it down. The shot put up and hit there by Autumn Jackson, who has 8 points for Mount Pleasant. Cuts the lead to 21 at 45-24 with 3:36 left here in the fourth quarter. Tierra Rose on the dribble. They leave Porter for the three. That's off, no good. Godbolt the rebound. Her follow shot, good by Danielle Godbolt, who has 10 points. LadyCats leading 47-24 with 3:17 left here in the fourth quarter. Keaton with the ball outside from Mount Pleasant. Stops and lobs over to Autumn Jackson. Cross court it goes. Came over to Webster. Webster drives to the baseline outside. Jackson the three off the iron. Comes down to Porter. Here's Porter blasting down the court. Beats everybody down there and lays it up and in. Boy, they chase, but even with a head start, she's going to get down there quickly. LadyCats leading 49-24. 2:46 left here in the fourth quarter. And that was Keaton driving in, and they say she palmed the ball instead of dribbling, that where you kind of cup that ball. And anyway, a palming violation. And Porter down to Autumn Tanton. Nice catch, and Tanton put it up and in. Autumn beating the defense down there, and Tanton has 12 points. LadyCats leading 51-24 with 2:28 left here in the fourth quarter. Keaton with the ball over to Autumn Jackson. She'll shoot the three, and that's off, no good. And another rebound, Tierra Rose. Outlet to Porter, she's ahead of the field and makes the layup. 23 points for Sadavia Porter. Lady Cats leading 53-24. 2:07 left here in the fourth quarter. And timeout taken by Mount Pleasant. 2:04 left in the fourth quarter. Lady Cats of Sulphur Springs 53 and Mount Pleasant 24. Let's take a break here and we'll be back in a moment. Lady Cats break out of the huddle. Mount Pleasant still has about another 5 seconds or so. As we have 2:04 left in the ball game, and the Lady Cats are on the verge of winning their 24th game of the season. They have a season record of 23-6. They started out 5-3 in district play, so they sure look like they're headed for 6-3. Mount Pleasant has won 4 district games, which means they have qualified to be the number 4 team in the district playoffs. Passing the ball around the perimeter into Merriman. Merriman drives into the lane to Bates. Bates put it off the glass and missed it, but drew a foul on Tanton, I believe. I don't know. Well, I'll say Autumn. I think that's her third. So Bates, who has had a tough night at the free throw line, eyes the bucket. Here's the free throw on the way, and that was in the bucket and kicked out. And the seniors hit the bench, and they get a standing O from a lot of the crowd here. Sadavia Porter, Autumn Tanton, Danielle Godbolt, Kiera Rose, and Tarayla Kelly. Second Bates free throw is off, no good, and the rebound to Carrie Wright, who gives it over to Aaliyah Abram. Abram across the midline for the Lady Cats. Seeing the Lady Cats of the future in there now, and not a senior to be had. Carrie Wright tried to get it to Kate Womack, and it went out of bounds. Last touch by the Lady Cats, and it'll go to Mount Pleasant. 1:37 left here in the fourth quarter, and the Lady Cats lead 53-24. Ball into the corner and down low to Bates. Bates working with Latavia Smith, and Latavia getting an introduction to varsity basketball from a tough player there, that Bates, and Bates drew the foul on Latavia Smith, even though Latavia got bumped and moved over a couple of feet. And Bates back at the free throw line. Still trying to make one. They got that free throw. And Bates has 9 in the game, has a chance for double figures here. She'll eye the bucket. And free throw on the way is no good. And fight for the rebound, and last touch by the Lady Cats, so it'll go back to Mount Pleasant. Lady Cats leading by 28 points at 53-25 with 1:31 left here in the fourth quarter. Honesty Brannon into Merriman and over to Bates. Bates storms toward the basket and put it up and missed it. And the rebound to Nyla Lindley, who gets it over to Abram. Abram across the midline, and then some big-time contact and a blocking foul on Danielle Merriman, who ended up getting knocked back about 15 feet. Luckily, she stayed on her feet so she didn't fall. That was a real big-time collision there. A pair of number 5s hit each other with a great deal of oomph. Here's a throw in to Abram, and she turns and shoots, missed the shot, but drew the Mount Pleasant foul, and Aaliyah Abram will head to the foul line for a couple of foul shots. Looked like a single number, but I don't see one out there. Maybe Merriman again. Here's Aaliyah from the free throw line, and good by Aaliyah Abram. Her first point in the ball game. A chance to extend the Lady Cats lead out to 30. Abram's free throw, good form by Aaliyah Abram. A couple of really, really smart looking free throws. They were done with a great deal of style. 55-25 with 1:15 left here in the fourth quarter. Brannon. Here's a long shot by Autumn Jackson. Here's a follow shot, no good by Mount Pleasant. Lady Cats get the rebound, and down to Abram. Abram toward the basket. The ball lost out of bounds, and last touch by the Lady Cats. Caused Abram to kind of hit that fist into that padding along behind the basket. Not hit very hard. Don't want to be like some of those baseball players lose their cool and break a hand or something in the locker room, smashing it up against the locker. At least she picked on a nice padded surface and didn't hit it all that hard. But she was frustrated by losing that ball. Final minute to play here. Lady Cats by 30 points. Bates from the free throw line. Here's a three by Jackson. It's off the iron, no good, and will go all the way out of bounds. Right into the hands of Jermon Bryant Amos, who's catching the ball over there. He just came in. He's going to have a hard time getting a seat. We told him to get here early against Mount Pleasant. Carey Wright across the midline on the dribble. Carey picks it up and throws it over to Kate Womack. We're in the last 40 seconds. Lady Cats up by 30. Womack driving over near the Lady Cats bench, and Autumn Jackson picked up a foul. She is not like, she just fouled out, and she did not like any of the five against her this evening. She quarreled with every one of them, but she just fouled out, unfortunately. Good-looking free throws, three-point shooter. She made a couple tonight. And checking in is Honesty Brannon. Kate Womack from the free throw line. This one's on the way. In and out, no good. Batavia Smith tips it back out toward Kate, but Merriman picks it up from Mount Pleasant. Gets it over to Trinity Brannon, and then over to Bates, and Bates busted in and hit a basket, but was called for the offensive foul as bodies were flying. And a foul on Bates, and it'll go back to the Lady Cats with 29.2 seconds left here in the fourth quarter. Aaliyah Abram across the midline. Abram on the dribble. Gives it over to Kate Womack. She'll shoot the three off the iron, no good. And the rebound came down to Trinity Brannon. Over to Bates. Bates again heading to the bucket. Puts it up and missed it. Rebound to Aaliyah Abram. Abram down the court. And another huge collision. And I think Aaliyah is going to get the offensive foul that time. And she didn't like that call. Well, they don't let the players vote. The officials have the final word. Around the arc. Here's a long, that shot was taken too late by Mount Pleasant at the final horn. And the Lady Cats of Sulphur Springs defeat the Lady Tigers of Mount Pleasant by the score of 55-25. Lady Cats had 16 points in that fourth quarter, and Mount Pleasant had 7. So here were the four quarters from Mount Pleasant: 2, 10, 6, and 7 for a total of 25 points. I'll say that's pretty good Lady Cats defense. Lady Cats had 13, 16, 10, and 16 for their 55. So the Lady Cats win 6-3 now in district. They have a tough assignment. They go to Texas High at the top of the district standings, tied with Royce City. And Mount Pleasant will get Royce City to end it up as here come the Wildcats, and that always causes a lot of, well, actually, those were fans cheering the Lady Cats off the court, so we appreciate that. I was looking around for the Wildcats. That's usually what they get. But the Lady Cats got that as they disappeared off the court. Very nicely done, fans. Let's take a break here. We'll come back and tell you who scored what and wrap this one up as we get ready for Wildcats basketball. Coming up shortly, the Wildcats varsity against the Mount Pleasant varsity in the guys, the Wildcats and the Tigers. So let's take a break here. Back in a moment.